Calculus has three main types of limits. We have a left-hand limit, a right-hand limit, and an overall limit. And it's important to know how to read the notation from these different limits to be able to know what the problem's asking you. This one we're going to talk about is the right-hand limit. So how to read off if our limit is asking for us to do a right-hand limit. So the limit notation would look like this. It's read limit as x approaches some number there. And then when we're talking about from the right, they're going to put a little plus sign up in that exponent right there. And then it'll be of some equation, some f of x. And then the answer that we're always looking for in these situations is the y value. What y value does it look like I'm headed towards? So as x approaches this number here from the right direction, what y value does my graph look like? So what you do is you draw along that graph coming from the right direction. So if we look at this example over here, if we look at this graph that we're working with, and let's say I said to you, what is the limit as x approaches 2, and then they put that little plus symbol up there, so that tells us from the right of f of x of that equation. So as I head towards 2 from the right, what y value does it look like my graph is headed towards? And so in these situations, what I like to do when I'm doing a limit problem, especially off of a graph, is I draw what I call a wall at x equals 2. So at x equals 1, 2, I draw my wall right there. And what I want to know is where does it look like my graph is going to run into that wall? So as my graph approaches that wall, what does it look like I'm headed towards? So when you're doing this, you're just going to grab a hold of your graph and start drawing. And you just draw along that graph from the right direction, and you'd say, what does it look like I'm headed towards? Well, it looks like I run into that wall right here. Well, that would be at a y value of 4. So the right-hand limit, the limit as x approaches 2 from the right, looks like it's headed towards a y value of 4. And remember, when we're talking about limits, we don't care if there's an open circle that we're headed towards or a closed circle, whether there's a dot there or not. The limit only cares what does it look like I am headed towards.